Welcome to Inside the Pickle Jar, a podcast where we dive into the wonderfully quirky world of neurodiversity. I'm Tonya Weaver, your friendly neighborhood relationship coach specializing in neurodiverse individuals and neurodivergent myself. From communication tips to managing those "did you really just say that" moments, every episode will share real-life stories, expert advice, and practical strategies to help you tackle obstacles and build stronger, more fulfilling connections. Listen on to Inside the Pickle Jar, where every connection matters, every pickle has its place. I'm your host, Tonya Weaver, and specifically today, we're diving into an initiative by Microsoft that is transforming the way we think about hiring and workplace diversity. I'm talking about Microsoft's Neurodiversity hiring program. In later episodes, we'll talk about other smart initiatives led by other companies that intentionally hire and support the neurodivergent. But for now, we'll focus just on Microsoft, as they have been leaders and champions in this initiative for a long time. For the record, SAP is often credited as the first pioneer in this space when they launched their Autism at Work program in 2013, which aimed to integrate autistic individuals into their workforce. So, quick review: neurodiversity is a concept that recognizes and respects neurological differences as any other human variation. This includes the neurodivergent conditions like autism, ADHD, dyslexia, and more, as well as the neurotypical. Microsoft has been at the forefront of embracing neurodiversity, not just as a matter of corporate social responsibility, but as a strategic advantage. So here's a little bit of history. Microsoft's neurodiversity hiring program was launched in 2015. The goal was simple yet profound: to create a more inclusive hiring process that would allow neurodivergent individuals to showcase their strengths and talents. Traditional hiring processes often inadvertently screen out neurodivergent candidates due to their unique ways of thinking and communicating. So what does that mean exactly? Well, traditional hiring processes often rely heavily on standard interviews, which can be very challenging for neurodivergent individuals. For example, standard interviews involve a lot of social interaction. These traditional interviews don't just emphasize social interaction, but also quick thinking. Neurodivergent individuals, such as those with autism, might find these situations stressful and may not perform well despite having the necessary skills for the job. And then there are the unstructured questions. Open-ended and unstructured questions can be difficult for individuals with ADHD or autism. And they might excel in structured environments, but they struggle with the ambiguity of these open-ended questions. And that's even just once the neurodivergent gets past the resume screening. To even make it past that and get into the interview, many times the neurodivergent fail the resume screening for a number of reasons. A couple of them are gaps in employment. Neurodivergent individuals might have gaps in their employment history due to various reasons, including the need for a more supportive work environment, or a team of predominantly neurotypical individuals might not understand or appreciate neurodivergent thinking patterns. So traditional resume screening might overlook these candidates based on these gaps. And then there are the non-linear career paths. Many neurodivergent individuals have squiggly career paths that don't fit the traditional mold. This can lead to their resumes being filtered out early in the process. And these gaps or squiggly lines can happen because many neurodivergent candidates are curious, like to learn, and don't feel challenged in their current work. So they may go to work in an industry that is different from their degree, or even the previous 3 jobs they had before. They also tend to like creativity, autonomy, and flexible work schedules, so they're constantly looking for ways to fill that void. I know from personal experience, when I was not feeling validated or accomplished in my work, I turned to ultra running and have done incredibly long distances and multiple marathons in a row in order to feed the gap in my mind and soul that needed to have something that was more challenging and interesting. Additionally, some organizations use assessment tests to pre-screen candidates. Standardized tests just don't accurately reflect the abilities of the neurodivergent candidate. Think of individuals with dyslexia who might struggle with written tests despite having strong problem-solving skills. And timed assessments can be particularly challenging for those with ADHD or anxiety who might need more time to process information and respond accurately. And then there are the filters for, quote, workplace norms and expectations. Some organizations assess applicants for whether they will be a, quote, cultural fit, which can be extremely subjective and incredibly biased against those who think or behave differently. Neurodivergent individuals might bring unique perspectives that don't always align with the existing culture, but actually could be highly beneficial. Or the neurodivergent may have different communication styles that can be misinterpreted. For example, someone with autism might be very direct, which can be perceived as blunt or rude in a traditional interview setting. So, what is Microsoft's approach? Well, to start, Microsoft provides regular webinars to explain the process. They say that we know applying for jobs can seem overwhelming, so we're hosting monthly webinars to help simplify the processes around applying to roles at Microsoft. Learn about Microsoft's neurodiversity hiring program, requesting interview accommodations, and hear from members of the Disability ERG who will share their story of what it's like to be a person with a disability working at Microsoft. Microsoft's neurodiversity hiring program addresses these challenges by using a multi-day hiring process. So instead of a single interview, candidates participate in a multi-day process that includes team projects and skills assessments. This allows them to demonstrate their abilities in a more relaxed and open environment. Once the neurodivergent candidate is hired, Microsoft uses job coaches. Providing these job coaches who support neurodivergent employees in navigating the workplace helps them understand the culture, develop communication strategies, and design their career path. Microsoft also provides inclusive training. This training is offered for all employees to help foster a more inclusive and understanding workplace culture. So, by rethinking traditional hiring processes, companies like Microsoft are not only creating more inclusive workplaces, but also tapping into a pool of talent that brings unique strengths and perspectives. And then, on top of all of that, Microsoft has launched the Neurodiversity Career Connector. It's a job portal that connects neurodivergent candidates with employers committed to inclusive hiring practices. That's not just with them, but with any company that embraces neurodiversity and wants to actively hire the neurodivergent. There are employers like Salesforce, Pfizer, and Chevron. I'll include links to both Microsoft's neurodiversity hiring program and to the Neurodiversity Career Connector in my show notes. Neil Barnett, the Director of Inclusive Hiring and Accessibility at Microsoft, says, quote, we realized that traditional interviews were not the best way to assess the skills of the neurodivergent candidate. So we revamped our approach. We introduced a multi-day hiring process that includes all the team projects and skills assessments and informal interviews. This allows candidates to demonstrate their abilities in a more comfortable and supportive environment. This initiative or innovative approach has paid off. Microsoft has seen a significant increase in the hiring and retention of neurodivergent employees. But it's not just about getting people in the door. The company has also implemented robust support systems to ensure these employees thrive once they're hired. One of the key components of this support system is the role of the job coaches I mentioned earlier. These coaches work closely with neurodivergent employees to help them navigate the workplace, develop their skills, and build their careers. One of these job coaches, her name is Sarah Thompson, and Sarah says that our job is to provide ongoing support and mentorship. We help with everything from understanding workplace norms to developing communication strategies. It's incredibly rewarding to see our employees grow and succeed. And the impact of the neurodiversity hiring program extends way beyond Microsoft. The company has been actively sharing its learnings and best practices with other organizations. They've even published a playbook to help other companies develop their own neurodiversity hiring initiatives. But what do these employees themselves think? There are several neurodivergent employees at Microsoft who are more than willing to give their perspective. One of them said, quote, "Before joining Microsoft, I struggled to find a job that appreciated my unique skills. Here, I feel valued and supported. The hiring process was unlike anything I'd experienced before. It was clear that they wanted to see what I could do, not just how well I could interview." And another employee said, quote, "The support I've received has been amazing. My job coach has been instrumental in helping me adjust and succeed. I feel like I can truly be myself here." So all these testimonials highlight the profound impact that an inclusive hiring program can have on individuals' life. Not to mention the fact that neurodivergent people, once they're hired, feel incredibly loyal to a company who's been so supportive and encouraging of them. So what's next for Microsoft's neurodiversity hiring program? The company is continuously looking for ways to improve and expand the initiative. They're exploring new technologies and methods to make the hiring process even more inclusive, and they're committed to sharing their journey with the world. Listen for more information from Microsoft in future episodes. Now, let's take a moment to discuss the broader implications of neurodiversity in the workplace. Embracing neurodiversity isn't just about doing the right thing. It's about tapping into a pool of talent that brings unique perspectives and problem-solving skills. Studies have shown that neurodiverse teams can be more innovative and productive. By creating an environment where everyone can thrive, companies can unlock new levels of creativity and performance. To explore this further, I looked for quotes from Dr. Jane Smith, who is a leading expert in neurodiversity and workplace inclusion. And she says, neurodiverse individuals often have exceptional abilities in areas like pattern recognition, attention to detail, and creative thinking. When companies create inclusive environments, they not only benefit from these skills, but also foster a culture of innovation and resilience. Dr. Smith also emphasized the importance of ongoing education and training for all employees to create a truly inclusive workplace. It's crucial for organizations to provide training on neurodiversity and inclusion. This helps to break down stereotypes and build a more supportive and understanding workplace culture. So as we wrap up today's episode, let's reflect on the key takeaways. Microsoft's neurodiversity hiring program is a shining example of how companies can rethink their hiring processes to be more inclusive. By doing so, they're not only opening doors for neurodiverse individuals, but also driving innovation and success within their organizations. They have also made themselves a connector between the neurodivergent and cooperating organizations who understand that you must have neurodiversity in your work organization to be successful. It's an incredibly deep pool of very talented but underutilized and underappreciated group of individuals. If you're a business leader or HR professional listening today, consider how you might implement similar practices in your own organization. The benefits are clear, and the impact on individuals' lives can be profound. There are lots of ways you can accomplish this and improve your company's hiring practices for neurodivergent individuals. So, similar to Microsoft, create more structured interviews. That includes clear, consistent questions and provide the questions in advance. When it comes to skills-based assessments, focus on practical skills and problem-solving abilities rather than traditional interview performance. This can help identify the true potential of candidates. Then provide training for hiring managers. Educate them about neurodiversity and the benefits of a diverse workforce. Training can help them understand how to support neurodivergent candidates effectively. Write inclusive job descriptions. These should focus on essential skills and avoid unnecessary jargon. Be clear about the expectations and requirements of the role. And then offer flexible work options such as remote work or flexible hours to accommodate different needs and working styles. And I have heard from several organizations that they just don't trust people to do the job if they're not in the office or they can't see them. And if that's your situation, you have bigger problems you need to address than the neurodivergent candidate. So turn around and create supportive onboarding. Provide a structured and supportive onboarding process. It includes things like pairing new hires with mentors or buddies to help them acclimate to the workplace, and provide job coaches to help the neurodivergent understand your organization's culture. Tailor your communication. Adapting the communication strategies to meet the needs of neurodivergent employees means clear written instructions and regular check-ins. Then give predictable performance feedback. Offer regular, predictable feedback to help neurodivergent employees understand their performance and areas for improvement. I know I personally need regular validation that I'm on track, that I didn't misunderstand, that I'm fulfilling the goals. It doesn't matter what level I am in the organization. I need to know that I've understood the task and I'm on target. Most importantly, create a supportive culture. Foster an inclusive culture where neurodiversity is valued. Encourage open discussions about neurodiversity and provide resources and support for all employees. And then allow and leverage technology. The use of all assistive technologies and tools can help neurodivergent employees perform their tasks more effectively, and the neurodivergent can help your company get ahead in the use of AI. Now, some of these technologies that I mentioned don't just include AI. They can also include noise canceling headphones or quiet rooms where you can go to think and work. But AI is a big factor, and many companies are working on having their own internal uh, AI tools that everyone can use. If you can implement these strategies, your organization can create a more inclusive and supportive environment for neurodivergent individuals, unlocking their full potential and benefiting from their unique perspectives and skills. So, that's all for today's episode of Inside the Pickle Jar. We hope you found this discussion on Microsoft's neurodiversity hiring program as inspiring as I did. If you want to learn more, check out the links in the show notes. And if I can help coach you through how to change your hiring practices, improving your support mechanisms, or figuring out new DEI policies, please reach out through my website, risingtidecoaching.org. And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with others who might benefit from our discussions. If you didn't like it, just kind of pretend you didn't hear it. You can also follow me on social media for more insights and updates. And one last thing, I have a quick announcement. If you're enjoying our discussions on Inside the Pickle Jar and want to stay updated with tips on productivity and personal relationships, I invite you to sign up for my weekly newsletter. Each week, you'll receive exclusive content, tips, and updates straight to your inbox. It's a great way to stay connected and continue our journey together. Just head over to risingtidecoaching.org and enter your email to join our community. I look forward to sharing more with you, and until next time, stay curious and keep celebrating neurodiversity.